Guppies are versatile tropical fish with a peaceful disposition, making them excellent candidates for keeping in community aquariums. They are sociable and compatible with many species of fish. When it comes to keeping different species in the same tank, compatibility is crucial. If you want your guppies to be able to live comfortably with other fish, this video will help you decide which fish are suitable for keeping guppies. Here I want to point out that the best neighbors for guppies are considered to be the guppies themselves. They feel much more comfortable among their own. I have chosen the 20 best aquarium neighbors for guppies, as well as a few fish that you absolutely should not keep with guppies. But keep in mind that even among the most peaceful fish, there are individuals with a defiant character. Watch the video to the end and you will learn everything. Fish should be comfortable with their tank mates and should not be bullied, injured or stressed by other fish in the same tank. While preference for the same water conditions is a good starting point for determining whether two species will get along, there are other factors to consider when choosing the best aquarium neighbors. Therefore, the best aquarium neighbors for guppy fish are fish that live in the same water conditions that guppies prefer, are peaceful and are not known to have behavioral problems. If they have any behavioral problems, they are easy to curb or control. They are the same size, and if there is a difference in size, it is not a big deal that one fish will accept the other for food. Prefer the same food as guppies. Any fish that endangers the lives of your other fish should be eliminated as a potential aquarium neighbor. Here are 20 fish that meet these requirements and can be kept with guppy fish. 1. Platy. When it comes to getting along, platy fish and guppies are a really perfect combination. They are viviparous fish, both have rich coloration and patterns, and have similar housing requirements. I also recommend keeping both platy and guppies if you are a novice aquarist setting up your first general aquarium. They are both hardy fish that are easier to keep if you are just starting out in the hobby. 2. Molly. Another great addition to guppies are molly, which are also viviparous freshwater fish species, hardy and beginner-friendly. Mollies have a peaceful character and feel well in water, the parameters of which correspond to the characteristics of guppy fish. 3. Swordtails. Their elongated lower fin is sword-like in shape, giving these fish a truly unique shape. In addition to their shape, these fish come in a variety of colors. Since both guppies and swordtails are known to jump out of their aquariums, keeping them in a tank with a lid secured in place will prevent accidents. Like guppies, swordtails prefer to stay in groups, but be careful with the ratio of females to males, as both of these species are known to breed uncontrollably. 4. Corydoras catfish. Excellent bottom cleaners, Corydoras are bottom dwellers that get along well with your guppies and many other freshwater fish. Their friendly behavior and peaceful nature make them great beginner fish that are not finicky eaters and have no special housing requirements. Corys will pick up leftovers from the bottom of the tank, but their diet cannot consist solely of leftovers. Supplement their diet with bottom fish food. Although they are bottom dwellers, they have thin tendrils that they can injure. If you have sharp decor in your aquarium, try to avoid this. 5. Ancirus catfish. The spikes on the head adorn these fish, but may not appeal to some aquarists. Regardless of how you feel about the aesthetics of these fish, Ancirus have a surprisingly peaceful temperament, making them a top choice for keeping with guppy fish. As bottom dwellers, they do a great job of cleaning your tank and staying away from the surface of the tank where guppies spend most of their time. They grow larger than guppy fish and therefore require a larger aquarium than guppies. A 30-gallon aquarium is usually the ideal size for these fish. 6. Gourami. The gourami fish, and especially the honey gourami, is another fish that you can keep along with guppies. The gourami also has a wide variety of species, and here it is worth carefully select what gourami should be planted to the guppies. For example, gourami marbled can be quite aggressive and it is definitely not worth considering as neighbors. It is better to take for example honey, dwarf, licorice. These species are quite peaceful and do not grow large. As social fish, gourami live in groups of 4 to 6 individuals. Despite the fact that they like the company of a group, gourami are a little timid by nature and require shade and shelter in their aquarium. 7. Angelfish. The first thing that probably comes to your mind is how can angelfish get along with guppies? But angelfish have a peculiar character, and they can be aggressive towards guppies. And if you are only a beginner, then I would not recommend you to keep together. But if you are so eager to try to keep together, then you should take my advice. To begin with, make sure that your angelfish have enough space. Choose species that do not grow very large. and provide your guppies a lot of shelter. Also try to curb the aggressive tendencies of your angelfish by adding them to the tank while they are still small so they don't see them as a potential threat. 8. Tetras. Guppies can be kept with different varieties of tetras, such as neons. These fish species make good companions for guppies and can be kept together with the only caveat that some tetras may eat guppy fry, so either do not allow guppies to breed or provide enough cover for the fry to escape hungry fish. Tetras are gregarious fish and are best kept in groups, so make sure you choose a large tank. 9. Rasboras. Rasboras such as harlequin, shiner and clown rasboras can make good companions for guppy fish. These comfish are suitable for beginners and do well in communal aquariums, just like guppy fish. To prevent them from becoming timid and stressed, I recommend keeping them in the numbers recommended for each species, especially if said species exhibit gregarious behavior, such as harlequin rasboras. Rasboras are ideal for guppy fish because they get along well with each other, and you don't have to worry about behavioral problems or unhealthy social dynamics. 10. Betta fish. Betta fish, a fighting fish and quite aggressive with guppies, are unlikely to get along together. However, I would not completely rule out the betta fish. Sure, they aren't perfect for each other, and strictly speaking, they don't meet the requirements for the best aquarium roommate we established at the beginning of this video, but there are varieties of roosterfish that can get along with guppies. In fact, if you choose betta fish varieties that are a little more passive, such as betta fish delta and half moon, you can create an environment where they can live peacefully in the same tank as guppies. 11. Shrimp. Shrimp such as amano and cherry shrimp can perfectly enjoy the aquarium conditions in which guppies thrive. However, shrimp and guppies are not the most obvious combination, especially since hungry guppies may try small shrimp, but with some precautions you can avoid this. Cherries can also survive in an aquarium with guppies, however, their bright red color may make them a more obvious target. If your aquarium is densely planted with plants, this can provide them with ample shelter. Amano shrimp, on the other hand, are larger than cherry shrimp, and they have an almost transparent body, making them masters of camouflage. Therefore, I would say they are much better suited for guppy fish. 12. Siamese Algae-eater. As their name suggests, these fish are popular for their ability to eat algae. Unlike other algae eaters that tend to be a bit more passive, these are actually quite active but prefer to hang out at the bottom of the aquarium. They like a planted aquarium, are peaceful and can be kept with guppies, Danio and Tetras. Their preferred food is of course algae, but they will eat anything they can find on the substrate, including insects, live food, etc. 13. Otocinclus. Another excellent algae eater that is a good choice for an aquarium with guppies is the Otocinclus, a fast-swimming fish with an insatiable appetite for algae. Otocinclus are more sensitive to water conditions than guppies, so make sure your water parameters are excellent when you decide to keep them together. 14. Danio. Danio are another potentially good partner for guppy fish. They are not aggressive towards each other and enjoy the same water parameters. The only caveat to this combination is that Danios are quicker to get to food than guppies, which can leave some guppies hungry. Aquarists recommend dumping food into the tank in different locations so that all fish can access the food. I also recommend having a few catfish in the tank to pick up leftover food. 15. Rainbowfish. A beautiful and popular freshwater fish, they can be a good choice. However, they grow larger in size than guppies, so to live together, you should have a large aquarium, from 20 gallons of water. Rainbowfish like an aquarium with dense vegetation, and they eat most fish food, including live food, which will help them to better reveal their beautiful colors. Rainbowfish are very hardy fish, easy to keep, and fight disease well. 16. Clown Bocia. They like a planted aquarium with shade and hiding places, as they don't like bright light. They prefer live food and get along with almost all non-aggressive freshwater fish. Bocia clowns, even despite their large size, fish are peaceful and compatible with a large number of other species. But there are cases that if you keep them together with fish with voile tails, they can snatch them. Therefore, add them to the guppies, you need to be careful. 17. Snails. Ampullaria, Spawn, Telemelania, can be kept perfectly with guppies, which will also clean your aquarium, but you need to take into account that there are species that easily reproduce in the aquarium, and you will need to control this process. 18. Apistogramma. Cichlids are known for being aggressive, but some dwarf varieties such as the Apistogramma are much more peaceful compared to their relatives, and so they make good aquarium neighbors for guppies. These fish are beautifully colored, have an iridescent body and high fins. They do not grow large and do well in an aquarium of 10 gallons or more of water. They can be kept with other viviparous fish that are also compatible with guppy fish such as swordtails, Melanesias and Pacelias. As one of the few cichlids that can live peacefully with small livebearers, Apistogrammas are not difficult to keep, but they are much more difficult to breed. 19 Dwarf Frogs. If you're wondering how to keep frogs in a general aquarium, a dwarf frog might be an interesting choice for a guppy tank. As bottom dwellers, they have little interaction with guppies, which mostly hang around in the middle part of the water column. The only problem with keeping these two species together occurs during feeding time. Guppies greedily eat their food before it reaches the dwarf frog, which eats slowly. Therefore, if guppies are kept together with a dwarf frog, you will need to make sure that the frog gets enough food. 20 Discus. These disc-shaped fish are a graceful and colorful addition to a guppy tank. The only problem with keeping these fish together is that their water temperature requirements are not exactly the same. Discus like warmer water than guppies. However, if you find quirky guppy fish that like warmer temperatures or discus species that do well even in water with slightly cooler temperatures, you may be able to find a middle ground that satisfies both types of fish. There are many fish that guppies like as aquarium neighbors. The key is to create an environment that suits all members of the aquarium. Behavioral problems can sometimes be curbed, for example, when keeping cockerels with guppies. But there are also fish that will never get along with guppies. In conclusion, ideal aquarium neighbors for guppies are swordtails, molly, platy, corydoras and some others I mentioned in this video. With some fish like betta, angelfish and discus, you have to take different precautions if you plan to keep them together to avoid fights and injuries. If you want to create a shared aquarium, always research the fish that can and cannot be kept together. Thank you all. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye everyone.